there, beautiful people. You're listening to Cast a Ripple by Carla Berger from Cape Town, South Africa. Hello friends, and welcome to a new episode of Cast a Ripple. Cast a Ripple and Be a Ripple is a space where I like to share what I like to call life-enhancing tools that absolutely anybody can use to better improve the quality of their day-to-day experiences. Just as an extension of this, I'd like to clarify what life-enhancing tools is and what they actually do. I give all of these tools to give you the opportunity or the ability to create space for yourself. So there's the saying, holding space or holding space for yourself, and that is what all of these tools are. When I say life-enhancing tools, what I mean is tools that help us to create space and to hold space for ourselves so that we can ultimately live a less stressed and a less rushed and a more peaceful and tranquil life, right? So that's just to clarify. If you want to listen more about that, you can go watch my couch talk that I did this Wednesday. So today I want to talk to you about words and how words are a life-enhancing tool that we can use to create space in our lives. So words are kind of a tricky thing because words is a man-made concept, right? All of these things that I'm forming with my mouth now and the way that I am expressing myself is through means of codes or syllables or sounds that we as humans formulated in order to communicate with each other. But they can be very limited in their capabilities to communicate, because where some people have a certain definition for a word, let's say God, other people may have either a negative or a positive connection with that word. So it is very based on our own interpretations and our own experiences with a specific word. That's why words, and why Eckhart Tolle also says, words are very limited in communication abilities. That is the most primitive way that we communicate through. Other ways that are more primitive or less primitive are through our actions or through our energy or through touch or through those kind of things. So words are actually a very primitive communication tool. But how can we use words to create space in our lives? How can we use it as a tool for us to better improve the quality of our lives? Words are signposts. They are just a signpost that points to a meaning, to an understanding, to something deeper within us. They are very superficial. So we should always keep in mind that that is what words are. Sometimes we can take things so literally when people speak to us or when you listen to someone, and you get offended or you get caught up in the actual words that they are saying. But you know deep down that that is not what the person is actually meaning. You know that when they say a specific thing that puts you off, or they use a specific word, you know that the meaning of that word might not actually be what they used it for in that context. Sometimes it is, right? Sometimes it is, but most of the time we have our own kind of connection with that word, and it triggers us in some other ways. So this is the first point that I want to make about words and using words as tools, is understanding that words are only signposts. They are not the meaning. They are not the energy. They could be, but most of the time, words are just a very primitive form of communication, and that they are signposts. Okay, so that's the first thing to know about words. The second thing, and this is the way that I find words to be the most beneficial for me in creating space, is that they are a form of expression of what I am feeling. So emotions are also complex things, and no amount of words can ever put in to reason or express an emotion fully. It can only point towards a specific feeling. It can only try and label what it is that you are feeling. So Eckhart Tolle actually says in his book, The Power of Now, which if you haven't read it yet, please go check it out. It really is a fantastic book. But he says that we need to not label our emotions. This is what I took from his book. So other people might understand it differently, where I once tried to follow that reasoning, have actually kind of gone the other way, because I feel like I need to be able to label my emotions. According to Eckhart, you need to feel your emotions and not label them, not try and judge them, not try and put a finger on them. Just give them the space and the opportunity to actually be felt. And why I understand that is because we don't want to identify with that specific feeling. We don't want to become that emotion, because we are not the emotion. We are only that which is experiencing the emotion, right? We don't want to become it, so we don't want to label it. We don't want to go too deep into it and try and identify it, because then we start to identify with that emotion. I find it very helpful to be able to sit with an emotion, feel it, and then identify what it is that I am feeling. Is it fear? Is it sadness? Is it happiness? Is it anxiety? What is it that I am feeling? And that helps me to go deeper into that feeling in understanding what the root cause of that is. So I've been, say, for example, feeling a bit of fear in myself, or anxiety, or this kind of uncertainty on my chest. And when I sat with that this morning, I felt and identified it as fear, as something that is holding me back. And I need to deal with that, right? Being able to identify what that emotion is helps me to go into what the root cause of that is and why I am feeling it, so that I can process it and work with it, give it space, give it whatever it is that it needs to be felt and to be realized, and then let it go. So for me, words are a critical part of expressing myself. So when I'm in meditation, I ask myself questions through words, right? What is it that I'm feeling? What is it that I want to feel? What is it that my subconscious is trying to tell me? And answers arise from that. I also do journaling, so I use words to scribble down what it is that I'm feeling. I call it emotional venting, so I just frantically write down whatever it is that pops up in my head without censoring it. And that kind of helps me to also delve into what it is that I'm feeling and why I'm feeling it. And that gives me resolve around that emotion. So that's where words are very critical for me, to be able to express my emotions and what it is that I'm feeling and what it is that I'm going through, and maybe find resolve in that. You can also use words when going to a therapist, right? Actually talking to someone, using your words to communicate what it is that you're feeling, and receiving words to try and figure out a deeper path into that. Or just talking to a friend even. That is also us using words, this primitive form of communication. But also using it in such an effective way so that we understand deeper lying meanings under them and deeper lying meanings into us. And that's where they're so powerful, words, in expressing what it is that we are feeling and expressing ourselves, essentially. So that's another thing, labeling the emotions and labeling what it is that we're going through, expressing ourselves. So powerful words, or words are really powerful, especially when you understand how powerful they are. When we read Conversations with God, there's this part in the book where Welsh talks about how there's this trinity of powerful things. It's thoughts, words, and then actions. So that is how we manifest in this reality. That is how we manifest what it is that we want in this reality. So thoughts, yes, and I've done a considerable episode on thoughts, so you can go and check that out. But so thoughts is the first leg of the Trinity. Then you've got words. So your thoughts get put into words, whether it's verbal words or whether it's written words. They get put into a physical form. So thoughts become words, become actions, and that's how we manifest. So words can be so powerful, especially if we reinforce them with positive thoughts, positive frequency thoughts, higher frequency thoughts that are put into words that then manifest in this reality. So things like affirmations and intentions, and even prayer, those are all examples of very powerful words, and how powerful we can use them to create or manifest something that we want in this life. So they can be really powerful, and we need to, it's kind of a double-bladed sword there, because the same way we can use them to manifest beautiful things in our lives, we can also use them to manifest horrible things in our lives. So that's where we need to be careful, not only what we're thinking, but also what we're saying. The words that we utter have a specific energy with them. That energy is carried through from your thoughts. So if you are saying something to someone, or saying something in general from that's formulated from a thought with a lower vibration, that lower vibration, and here I say a low vibration, so it's something that's coming from a negative point, something that's trying to be hurtful, trying to be manipulative, trying to be undermining, that is the energy that gets carried through to this word, and that is the energy that it manifests into this reality. And if you carry on bringing that same energy in, that is what's going to manifest into this reality, right? So if you rather bring in words that are from a higher frequency, that come from love or peace, you bring in those energies into words. It doesn't even really matter what you are saying. If you are using that energy, that is what's going to manifest in this reality, right? So if you tell someone that you hate them, then from a lower vibration, then you get slapped in the face. If you tell someone that you love them from a beautiful space, then there's probably might be better outcome for that. Might be, depends on where. If you say you love them from an actual unconditional space of love, then beautiful things will happen. If you say you love them from manipulation or manipulative state, then things might not go the way that you want it to do. So we need to understand that there is an energy with words. And that energy comes from the thought, or comes from a deeper space. So words are very powerful, but they can go both ways. We need to be careful on how we use them. And if we don't use them correctly, then things are going to manifest that we don't necessarily want in this life. Okay, so I think that's all that I want to say about words today. Words are very primitive, so there's only so much that I can say about words, because saying things about words involves words. So I just want to stress again, words are so powerful. Use them to your advantage. Use them as tools for you to create space. Use them as tools for you to identify or label your emotions. Not to become that emotion, but to be aware of what it is that you are experiencing. To bring awareness to what it is that you are feeling, so that you can express yourself. And always remember that words are signposts. They're only signposts. They're nothing more than that. Whenever you're listening and being triggered by something, remember that they are signposts. Yes, they are powerful and that we can use them to our advantage or our disadvantage, but also they are just at the surface of it all. They're not the deeper things. Okay, everyone, that's it for today. Please follow me on this channel. Please follow me on Be a Ripple, and on Instagram be_a_ripple, and check out my website for links to all of my content. Have a great week, and I will chat to you guys again in a week's time. Oh my love, bye.